When I think of Kimbap, I think of childhood memories. I remember mixing Kimbap ingredients at the kitchen table with my mom to pack for picnics. Kimbap, a traditional Korean dish, is the perfect portable healthy lunch for any occasion. Here's how to make it. So we're going to start out with ingredients. Honestly, you can use any type of ingredient you want, but this is what we're going to be using for this recipe. 4 dried seaweed sheets, 3 bowls of rice, half a bag of baby spinach, boiled, which is about 3 ounces worth, 4 slices of pickled radish, 4 imitation crab sticks, about 3/4 a cup of pre-cooked pulled chicken, 3 to 4 eggs, 1 tablespoon of mayo, 3 tablespoons of sesame seeds, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, and pepper and salt to taste. And all of these ingredients will be linked in the description below. Part 1, ingredient prep. So we're going to start out with our sesame seeds, put them over low heat for a few minutes, stirring with a spatula intermittently to prevent burning. Then we'll take them off the heat once they start popping and turn a slightly darker brown color. Then we're gonna bust out an old-fashioned mortar and pestle and grind it into smaller pieces, and then we'll set it aside for the spinach. So this is our boiled spinach. If you don't know how to boil spinach, it's very simple. All you have to do is rinse the spinach and insert it into boiling water for about 45 seconds. The ratio of spinach to water should be about 3 to 1. Then we're gonna drain the spinach using cold water and gently squeeze to remove any excess liquid. So once you've let that sit for a minute, you're just gonna season it with a little bit of salt, pinch of pepper, and a slight drizzle of sesame oil. We're gonna mix that around until it's well incorporated. And next comes what I consider to be the secret ingredient, those toasted sesame seeds. This will just give such an aromatic scent to the dish, and it'll also give a nice crunch that's almost nutty. It's just really pleasant. So at this point, my mom and I decided that we wanted a little more color, a little more vegetables in this dish. So we're adding some carrots, which is totally optional. But what we're doing is julienning about half a carrot and then shredding it or cutting it into uniform pieces. Then we're going to lightly cook it over a drizzle of olive oil on low heat. You just want to lightly cook this to really preserve that vibrant orange color because we want that to shine through in the final product. Alright, it's time to season our pre-cooked pulled chicken. Little bit of salt, little bit of pepper, little bit of mayo to make it a bit more creamy, but honestly you can skip this step if you want to make it more healthy. And you know the drill, we are mixing that baby up until it is nice and well incorporated. At this point, we decided to whisk the eggs. We used 4 eggs in this recipe, but honestly you could get away with using 2 or 3 because there was a lot left over. Now we're gonna season it with a bit of salt, whisk that in, and going back to the pan with the drizzle of olive oil over low heat, we're just gonna insert those whisked eggs. Now you only want to leave this here for about a minute so it doesn't overcook until there's no runny bits on the top. Then you're going to grab your handy dandy spatula and flip it over. So satisfying. And once it's fully cooked, we're just going to take that off the heat and slice it into evenly sliced egg strips. We're almost done, I promise. The last optional step is to season your rice with a tablespoon of vinegar, a tablespoon of light brown sugar, and 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds. So we're just gonna incorporate that into the bowl and make sure to mix it until it's nice and even. And now that all your ingredients are ready, we can move on to the fun part, assembling rolls. So, what we're going to do for this part is take a seaweed sheet and make sure to have it on some kind of cutting board or something of the sort, and then we're going to just spoon some rice on top. My mom has a little bowl of water on hand just in case she needs to dip her hands into it because the rice can get a little sticky. But what she's doing here is essentially just making the rice layer very thin so that we have a nice base layer to build off of for all of our other yummy ingredients. She's making sure to pat it down with a spatula. You can honestly do this with like your fingers. Just gotta make sure it's nice and thin so that the rolling process is smooth and painless. And now she's adding the ingredients. The order of the ingredients doesn't really matter, but it is important that you start about a third of the way down from the seaweed sheet, just to make sure that the rolling process is very smooth. So she's adding on all of those colorful ingredients that we prepared earlier in even amounts and making sure to distribute them evenly as well, just to make sure we have a nice cylindrical shape at the end. Then she's dipping her fingers into water and rolling that up. She has kind of a roll and squeeze technique, as you can see here. You really want to take your time with this to make sure that the final shape is nice and cylindrical. Then she takes a knife, wets it so it doesn't get too sticky, and proceeds to cut the gimbap roll into about inch-thick pieces. This makes it really nice and bite-sized and makes for easy packing if you want to bring this as a lunch or as a picnic dish. It's nice and portable. And so here are the final rolls! Oh my gosh, they are so colorful, so cute, and gimbap really just holds a special place in my heart. And I hope you enjoy making these rolls just as much as I do. Happy cooking!